Welcome to 100 Years of Solitude. It's another long-ass book that makes absolutely no fucking sense, and the author decided to name every single male character either Jose Arcadio or Aureliano, because apparently Gabriel Garcia Marquez ran out of creativity after coming up with two names. So as per usual, out comes the information condensation board and buckle the fuck up, because this story is weirder than your uncle's Facebook post after he discovered conspiracy theories. First thing you gotta know is this book takes place in a town called Macondo, which was founded by this dude I'm gonna call original Jose Arcadio, because there's gonna be like 17 more of these motherfuckers, and I refuse to keep track of which Jose Arcadio is which. This guy basically said, you know what, I'm gonna build a town in the middle of nowhere, and did exactly that. Probably because he got tired of dealing with other people's bullshit. The main family is the Buendias, and they're cursed or some shit. I don't know. Magic realism is confusing as hell. The curse is basically that they're all doomed to be alone, even when they're surrounded by people, which honestly sounds like every family reunion I've ever been to. Also, pigtails are involved somehow, because apparently being born with a pig's tail is the ultimate sign that you've been fucking your relative, which is a very specific and weird way to check your family tree. So, original Jose Arcadio marries his cousin Ursula, and she's worried they're gonna have pigtailed babies because incest. But spoiler alert, they have normal kids who just turn out to be completely batshit insane instead. Their first kid is Jose Arcadio, the sequel, who's apparently hung like a horse and fucks everything that moves before disappearing with some gypsies. Their second kid is Colonel Aureliano, who becomes this legendary military guy and starts like 32 civil wars or some ridiculous number, because apparently this family doesn't know how to have hobbies that don't involve violence or fucking their cousin. Then we get the third kid, Amaranta, who's basically the family's resident bitter spinster. She spends her entire life weaving her own funeral shroud and cock-blocking herself out of spite. Like, guys want to marry her, and she's like, nah, I'd rather be miserable and make everyone else miserable too. It's like she discovered incel culture before the internet existed. Throughout all this, weird shit keeps happening, because magic realism means the author can just throw in random supernatural bullshit whenever he wants. People levitate, it rains flowers, someone gets struck by light, there's a plague of insomnia where nobody can remember anything, and at one point it rains for like 4 years straight, because why the fuck not? It's like the town exists in some alternate dimension where the laws of physics are more like loose suggestions. The gypsies keep showing up with new technology, and everyone acts like ice is the most amazing thing ever invented. These people see a block of ice and they're like, holy shit, it's like fire but cold. And I'm sitting here thinking these motherfuckers would lose their minds if they saw an iPhone. The patriarch of the gypsies is this dude Melquiades, who's basically the town's Wikipedia. He knows everything and writes it all down in Sanskrit, because apparently regular Spanish wasn't pretentious enough. As the years go by, the family keeps having more kids, and they keep naming them the same fucking names, and they all have the same basic personality trait. The Jose Arcadios are all strong and impulsive and horny as hell, while the Aurelianos are all solitary and introspective and also horny as hell, because apparently being horny is the one consistent Buendia family trait. It's like Garcia Marquez was playing The Sims and only had 2 character templates. There's this whole thing about civil wars happening constantly, and Colonel Aureliano becomes this legendary figure who fights in all these battles, but nobody can remember what they're fighting about. It's like Twitter arguments, but with actual guns. The wars just keep happening, because that's what wars do in this book. They exist for the sake of existing. Meanwhile, the women in the family are either saints or complete psychopaths with no in-between. You've got Ursula, who lives to be like 120 years old and keeps the family together through sheer force of will and hitting people with wooden spoons. And then you've got other women who eat dirt or disappear into thin air because they're too beautiful for this world, or some poetic bullshit like that. The town of Macondo goes through various phases. Sometimes it's isolated from the world, sometimes it gets connected to civilization, sometimes it gets overrun by banana companies that treat the workers like shit, and sometimes it just gets forgotten entirely. It's like the town has multiple personality disorder, but for economic systems. Speaking of the banana company, there's this whole section where American corporations come in and exploit the workers, and when the workers strike, the government massacres them and then pretends it never happened. But in typical magical realism fashion, everyone literally forgets it happened, except for one guy who remembers, and everyone thinks he's crazy. It's social commentary wrapped in supernatural amnesia, which is either brilliant or pretentious depending on how much you've had to drink while reading. Eventually, The family line starts dying out because they can't stop fucking each other and having pig-tailed babies. And by the end, there's just one guy left trying to decode Melquiade's manuscript. And guess what? The manuscripts are the story of the Buendia family written in advance, which means this whole book is basically one giant "it was all foretold" prophecy. It's like if someone wrote your life story before you lived it, which is either mind-blowing or the literary equivalent of "it was all a dream," depending on your tolerance for metafictional bullshit. The book ends with the last Buendia finally understanding the prophecy, just as the town of Macondo gets erased by a hurricane, because apparently even nature got tired of dealing with this family's shit. It's like Garcia Marquez decided, you know what, I've put these people through enough weird shit, time to just delete the save file. The whole thing is supposed to be about the cyclical nature of history, and how people are doomed to repeat the same patterns, and how Latin America keeps going through the same political upheavals. But honestly, it mostly reads like someone's fever dream about a family that really needed therapy and birth control. Did I understand most of this book? Fuck no. Did I read it in Spanish? Also fuck no. Am I qualified to explain magical realism? Definitely fucking not. But did that stop me from trying to make sense of this literary acid trip? Hell no. This book gets 100 years of confusion out of 47 Jose Arcadios, who all look exactly the same.